Alright, I'm going to start from scratch here today. We're going to do a War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, Jazz, and Animated Jazz. We'll start with the more tedious design. And we're just going to do kind of like kind of a close-up deal. Start with the head. Hang on a second. Okay, there we are. My internet's a little spotty today, so I don't know how this is going to go. Hello, handsome wretch. So let's see, I'm going to have his head kind of pointed this way. I'm going to have his body kind of facing the side here. There's a lot of detail in this design, so I don't know how detailed I'm going to have a chance to get. Hey there, Sunny Sides, Cherry Soda, Zombie Prowl. Good to see you all again. Virtually see you, I guess. There's a lot going on here. We got some kind of cylindrical deals coming up on his back there. There's like a kind of a lit piece coming through there between these, or behind these little shoulder things. It's gonna be kind of battle ready here. I want to have like a maybe a fist coming in from the side. There's these kind of big wheel well sections on his arms. Hello, Design OW. Thanks for signing on, checking it out. All right, I want to have kind of the other hand coming in, maybe up here. Not the whole thing, just enough of it so you can see he's ready to fight. That's pretty good. He's got these big blocky shoulder things too. It's like yeah, it's a lot going on here. Yeah, this will be War for Cybertron / Fall of Cybertron Jazz. I googled them both. It doesn't appear to be a massive difference between them. I don't know if they're exactly the same, but you know, you get a lot of images. You get toy images, you get video game images, you get drawings. So, you know, I'm going off of a looks like a skin right from the video game. Article on cybertron.com, Sabertron, however you say that. I do for the actual face, for most of them I do. You know, you got some that kind of have different unique face shapes, but for most of them I kind of go with like regular human proportions, like Jazz, for example. So, you know, he's got a visor, but his eyes would be about here. Just, I do the typical kind of oval shape with the cross going through it to signify center line and the eye line. I've never actually played either of these games that this guy is from, but they look pretty awesome. I know that much. So you've got a little bit of extra separation going on in the face here. It's got kind of like a little bit where you can see the mouth separates from the rest. from the, the top from the bottom. I didn't want to lose his personality, so hopefully that won't disappoint anybody who wanted to see War for Cybertron Jazz specifically. We've got Victory going on in the background again, for those who are curious. Yeah, they did a nice job keeping, the typical things you think of. I think the first thing anybody thinks of with Jazz is the visor. You gotta have the visor. And then kind of the vents on the side of the face, like the cheek vents, for lack of a better term. That's at least what I think of first when it comes to like doing a drawing of Jazz, specifically his head. But they look to have remained pretty true generally to the whole thing. You've got the well, this thing right here goes kind of all the way down to the front of the little thing above his visor, the brim of his hat there. I'm going to try to move a bit quicker today. This will probably wind up a bit sketchier than what I usually do, but that's just because I want to get through 2 drawings today. We'll still pencil out the basics here, then start inking it in. Well, something bad's happening on Victory there. There we go. Yeah, they did a nice job from what I can tell. Looks like he has some extra texture in the visor here. I'll try to more, I'll capture it, but it'll be more of a hint at it than a extra detailed depiction there. Alright, so they gave him a little split down the center of this, and it's got pretty much a little chevron shape there. Alright, that's good enough for that, I think. Oh, they've got these things actually, there's only 3 of them, and they kind of tilt that way, which is a little bit different, but still close. And the hands, I think I'm going to mostly stick to how I normally draw them. Maybe I'll just go a little bit rougher. They look to have yeah, different little joint things there. That's pretty good, I think. All right, he's ready to rock and roll. So this kind of comes down almost all the way to the headlights here. And then he's got a couple different layers of kind of curved areas here. And then of course he's got the Autobot symbol right here. And there appears to be so many splits in the model. It's hard to tell where I should focus. Alright, let's focus on these little things here. So it's like a little stack up on his shoulder there. And they're slightly tilted here. Looks like they've got a little split down the middle there. Little detail like that, and then oh, maybe I'll try to keep the hint of the eyes in there. So you can get a bit of the headlights over here. I'm planning to do just kind of a quick-ish, you know, if you can call somewhere around an hour quick, just a quick pencil drawing and then ink it over, and then, you know, I probably won't color them. I definitely won't color them on the stream, but these are actually kind of runners-up on a couple of polls I took online. So, you know, I'm just trying to do something quick-ish just to kind of, you know, give some attention to the runners-up. So I'm going to go right in, come right in with the thicker pen, a brush pen. And just kind of hit some of these spots. I'm going to go a little bit rougher than I usually do. Sometimes that actually produces a fun result. Sometimes it just looks like a rushed thing. So we'll see where we wind up here. I'm usually very meticulous with my lines, so it's a little bit different for me to kind of go a little bit looser with the inks. But it's something I should probably do more often. Just kind of stretch a little bit. Let's do the bot symbol here. What is my favorite jazz design? Oh man, I can't. It's got to be the original. I want to say something else, but I mean, to me that toy is like perfection. The original G1 toy. The alt mode is perfect. The robot mode is perfect. The animation model is perfect. That's just my go-to. If I had to say beside that, I don't know. That's a tough one. I do like the animated take. I mean, the best ones to me are the ones that look closest to the original model. So that's kind of a cop-out answer, I guess. Well, I use a straight edge for most of my larger pieces. Most of the pieces that I do, I'll use a straight edge or a French curve to kind of guide the line work a little bit. You know, you got a lot of, especially when you're on a larger piece of paper, you don't want to like, you know, if I had to draw a line from here to here, I want to make sure that's smooth and consistent. So I usually use a straight edge on stuff like that. Definitely on like most of my cover work and things of that nature, I'll be pretty meticulous making sure it comes out just how I want it to. Well, thank you. Yeah, I don't know where, you know, why I started doing it, but I've had a lot of people tell me they really like how clean my line art is, so I guess it's just how I would naturally do it. But, you know, now I feel like that's kind of what I'm known for, at least to some extent. So that's kind of my deal, I guess. But I mean, I like a nice clean bit of artwork. when I'm looking at a piece of original art, I like it to be, you know, clean and detailed. I like to know that whoever drew it kind of put everything they had into it. I'm going to take a few liberties with this, I think, because I can. How about that? I did get very early on, I got good feedback from some of the colorists that I had worked with, that they liked how clean and open my lines are. It's actually one of the reasons that for a long time I didn't even fill in like heavy black spaces on my drawings. They were very open, very clean, because, you know, I figured the colorists really get the final say on what the art looks like. So, you know, I want to make sure they are able to do their best work and, you know, enjoy what they're doing. So that was something I tried to do a lot early on. One thing I probably should have thought about before I did this is, I don't know, this might be different for other artists. I'm sure it's different for everybody, but when I'm doing like quicker sketches, doing them head on is a little more of a challenge, because if you've ever drawn anybody head on, you gotta try to make it symmetrical. I mean, you don't have to, I guess, but that is probably what should happen. So if it was a 3/4 angle, you know, you could kind of quickly do what you got to do, and if, you know, it doesn't need to be totally symmetrical, so that's kind of less tedious. But that's okay. Yeah, for you know, like the Ironhide mini, Spotlight Blur, there were, you know, Spotlight Drift. There were characters that needed to be designed or redesigned, and pretty much just email the writer and editor and make sure everybody's on board. And you know, I worked with Joanna a lot early on, and she would do the colors for the designs, like Turmoil from Drift. That was her color choice, was the all black scheme. I wasn't actually sure. I know we wanted something dark and gritty looking, but I wasn't necessarily thinking all black. But when she came back with that, we were like, yeah, that works. That's good. Hey, Winston. Good to see you on here. We're just kind of doing a quick-ish pass at a War for Cybertron / Fall of Cybertron Jazz here. This is a Kuretake brush pen, extra fine. It's a little bit worn down, but that's what we're going with. Hello, Namish Name. Am I saying that right? Namish Name. Was it you didn't want to come up with a name? Had a hard time coming up with a name? Both? Well, that's okay, Winston. I'm glad you came on for as long as you can or want to. Yeah, I'm just trying to kind of burn through this quickly, so just starting right out with a brush pen. Which is not a typical choice, but that's what we're doing here. I think I'm going to hit a lot of dark spots on here too. Put a lot of shadow in. The only reason that at the moment I would say Transformers are easier to draw than people would be just that I've been doing it for so long, it's what I'm used to. So, you know, whenever I have to switch back to humans, you know, it takes a minute to kind of, you know, it's not like riding a bike. I have to kind of like get used to it again. just because there's a lot of lines here that are going in the same direction, a lot of curved lines. I'm just gonna lean on this French curve tool a little bit here. I'm kind of improvising a little bit here. Alright, well, since I got my number 1 out here, let's just go through the face real quick and get some of the smaller details here. We've got a little kind of grid-ish action going on with the visor. I don't know if I want to draw any of that in, but I will hit some of this detail here. They did a nice job of making these guys look a little more alien, but also still, you know, true to kind of the classic look. So we're just gonna kind of add in some of these little details, but it's still gonna be the jazz we know and love, or at least I know and love. And we'll throw in these little bits here. Spotlight Volume 3, that's a good one. I might be a little partial to it, but yeah, they'll have to stock up on some of the newer stuff. That one's probably close to 10 years old, probably actually more than 10 years old, I would think. I am going to add a hint of that kind of grid, and I'm probably going to regret it. But we'll find out. I think that's fine. Okay. One good thing about these video game designs is they're appropriately kind of scuffed up and beat up, which I like. All right, let's get a little bit of this detail over here. some sort of wheel well action happening here. So we'll get that kind of inked in. I'm just going to darken that out because why not? Because I can. Maybe I'll add a little bit of light coming in here. You know what I didn't actually plan on was got these kind of interesting gears up front here, like a cylindrical piece underneath, maybe here and here. I said gears, I don't really mean gears, I guess I just mean like mechanics. And then it's kind of dark down here, but you've got these things don't appear to be like related to any kind of neck or anything, they're just kind of there. So we'll throw those in. We'll darken all that right here. This one's a little shaped a little differently, a little more squared off. We got a split down here. Looks like I should have come in around this symbol. So we'll just do that there. The question of how am I liking this design so far? Well, I actually really like the design. I think they did a really great job on it. I probably should have planned out a little more time to take on it, but that's on me. There's a lot of different kind of little detail lines and stuff like that on these models, which looks nice, but it's not similar to Bayverse. It's not like, I don't think it's really meant to be hand drawn. It's meant to be animated digitally. I kind of hurry this up a little bit actually, because I do want to get animated jazz in at some point today. I'm going to be streaming until about 3:30, I think. Okay, I see. There's another piece here. The reference I'm looking at is actually facing the opposite direction, so I keep kind of screwing that up a little bit. But this, there should be another significant separation right about here. And that actually would go all the way down and around that. Okay, that feels a little better, doesn't it? That feels a little more like it. And then somewhere around here you would have the kind of headlight well there. So the headlight well goes a little bit deeper than this little section here, so we'll put it right about there. All right. And when in doubt, just add more detail. Alright, so I'm going to keep a little bit of the hint of the eyes in there. Just kind of incorporate it with a little like a little shine there. I'm going to kind of imply more of this grading going on there. All right, Winston, have a good day. Yeah, have a great weekend. Oops, sorry about that wiggle there. Use the old template here to just get an accurate ellipse here. I don't really know what those are supposed to be, but I don't have a full turnaround, so just gonna have to always wonder. All right, so I probably want to spend maybe another, I don't know, 10-15 minutes on this maybe. So I'm going to get rid of my pencil lines because this is a point in the drawing when they start to really irritate me. All they do is smudge everything else. So my ink should be dry enough to just go right over them. Yeah, I can't go heavy-handed with the pencils because it just, I can't handle the smudging. I know some people use like a cloth or another piece of paper, and I tried that and I just can't get used to doing that. So I just keep my pencils nice and light. All right, so we're going to kind of darken in some of this here. I want to keep it pretty true to the look of the game model, but at the same time I want to add a little bit of my own flair. But the game model that I've used for reference is pretty much, you know, there's no real solid dark blacks. Everything's like a gray, but we're still gonna put some solid black on here. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and just do this. I'm gonna throw a little shadow in front of him, a little bit of shadow under here, on the side of the head there, obviously inside the vents. I should be probably using a thinner marker for this, but I'm just trying to get the big spots. Alright, so I'm going to use this zebra pen, a thicker zebra pen, and just kind of go a little bit inky, a little heavy ink-ish action here. I'll be able to hit the edges accurately, but also kind of have a little personality here in the inked bits, in the dark bits. I'm just trying to kind of make this quick and fun. Hopefully it'll turn out that way. Sometimes if you get a little kind of inadvertent brush stroke, it winds up making it look pretty cool, even a spot where you didn't plan on having it be quite that way. A little heavy-handed with the Copic down there. Some of these vents are a little bit squished, but that's okay. This is more like a sketch than a, you know, finished, full, detailed piece of art. Some people call, you know, like commissions and stuff, sketches, when, you know, I'm spending like 3 to 4 hours, sometimes even more, making a piece look as good as I can, and it's sort of considered a sketch, which is kind of weird. This is more like a sketch, even though this is going to probably be the better part of an hour that I'm working on it. thing I find interesting in the Japanese media, the versions of Transformers, is how, you know, I don't know if it's like some sort of like a cultural thing or what, but you know, in the Japanese media, like Pokemon, a lot they seem to like shout out their abilities or powers or something. You know, shout out transform, shout out their name. But they don't do that in the Western media for some reason. Just find that interesting. There's no right or wrong, just observation. Here we go with the theme song again. I don't know if I've made it clear enough. I actually like completely love these Japanese series here. I've been watching Headmasters. Started with Headmasters maybe last week at some point. I actually would sit and watch one episode at a time. You know, each day I'll watch one episode. So I don't really, you know, take the time to do multiple episodes at a time. But one a day is reasonable, and I've been really enjoying them. Yeah, every time I hear the word, after watching Headmasters now, every time I hear him shout, transform, I'm waiting for head on. But, you know, obviously that's not happening in this series. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little fun, you know, squiggly shine lines there. These are supposed to be some sort of chromed out metal. haven't actually seen any of the manga. I would like to check that out at some point, but haven't done it yet. Alright, so we're going to just kind of throw in this headlight here. He's got like a double headlight action here, so one on top, one on the bottom. Just add a little sketchy bit there to kind of hint at a cylindrical shape. I want to wrap this up in the next few minutes, so I'm just going to kind of go through and add some touches of sketchy detail. Nothing too intense, just kind of add some battle wear or whatever, for lack of a better word. Starscream had glasses in one of these. Now that I might have to look up. Yeah, throw a little. We got another kind of textured bit in there. I'm just going to kind of make some of this up as I go because, you know, there's so much of it. There's a lot of lines going down this way, coming out of here. Just kind of turn that into something. Actually scuff up his hands a little bit here. He's getting into fist fights. He's going to have some scuffed up metal here. Yeah, a little battle damage. And we'll just do some of this too, just to finish it off. Sometimes I just like to fill in this empty space at the top here. That's right, he's getting rowdy. Alright, let's throw a little random detailing on here. A little kind of scuffed upness right there too. It's around the wheel well, so it's going to get a little scuffed up there too, I imagine. And again, if he's fist fighting, he's got to have some damage there. Alright, I think we're going to call this here. Move on to animated jazz. Just throw a signature on here. Put it right here in this little piece right there. Boom. There he is. Sketched out. War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron Jazz. The temptation is to fiddle around with this forever until, you know, until I have to stop. But I have to stop now, so there he is. Let's move on. Thank you. I'm glad you all like it. All right, so we've got animated jazz. Pull up that picture here. Thought I had it pulled up. Oh, there it is. All right. One of these beautiful Derek Wyatt designs. All right, how do I want to do this now? All right, let's start. Some people start with the body. I like to start with the head. I don't know why. Kind of trying to sketch in a hand up here. Thoughts on War for Cybertron? I can't wait to check it out. I kind of love that they're doing a cartoon based on current toy models, because that's really how it all started. So I like that that strategy. I think it looks like an interesting cast. I'm glad we're getting Alita 1 as part of the main cast instead of like a footnote or the random like quote girlfriend episode or something. She'll actually be, it looks like a character with some substance, which should be pretty cool. At least for me, I'm like looking forward to it. Oh, these. So somebody earlier asked me about like, do I do normal human proportions when it comes to sketching out the heads? And yes, usually, but this is one of those instances where Derek's work is so stylized. I don't want to totally like ape Derek's style, but you kind of have to a little bit if you're drawing an animated character. A repeat of the Machinima series. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Probably shouldn't ask. I think this is set back on his head a little boy, or yeah, a little bit further. I was reading the word boy. Your boy Magnus. Yeah, excited to see Magnus on there. Impactor? I don't think we've ever seen him in a animated bit of media, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But he showed up in one of the previews, which I think is cool. Alright, so he's got like his shoulders here, the neck comes down, shoulders. Got a little kind of triangular bit there. And his like car pieces are pretty actually wide. I wanted to do, actually, I don't think this is going to work. I was going to have him kind of with the nunchuck under one arm like Bruce Lee, but now that I'm looking at the design, I should have picked a different angle for that. So, let's see, how do I want to play this here? I can just have, I think I can still do it maybe. Have the nunchuck over here and kind of have it. Yeah, I can still do that. All right, we're good. So he's got a little kind of a rear view or headlight or something going on the shoulder there. A Wreckers cartoon would be great. I'd be on board for that. So Jazz is elite guard. I forgot about that. See, so his little bumper kind of goes all the way around here. The other headlight. It's got a little side blinker light, I guess it would be over there. Got a little double notched thing on his little underneath piece there. All right. I think this is pretty good. I'm going to cut this a little bit higher here. Oh, sorry about bumping the camera there. Hang on a second. Just gonna move everybody over. Ooh, earthquake. Okay. Sorry about that. So I'm bumping this up a little bit higher because I want to get the stripes and the Elite Guard logo, I guess you would say. Emblem. Oh, did that wrong. The thicker one, which is red in the middle, and then the two stripes there. And then that leads right into the Elite Guard symbol. Well, this reference image I have has like a very kind of normal looking Autobot symbol. Once again, I think Derek does a very Derek style Autobot symbol, which has a cool look to it. But I don't have that pulled up, so this is going to just be the way it is. All right, what do we got? About 5 after 3. We're doing good here. I'm going to kind of tighten this up a little bit. I think I'm going to give it a little bit of my own flair, because like I said, I don't want to just be trying to do a Derek Wyatt imitation, as much as I absolutely adore all of his stuff. I don't want to take this away from what animated jazz should look like, but at the same time, I want to add a little bit of my own flair to it. That is quite a chin, isn't it? The chins are strong with the animated characters. This does run right up to his headphone there. All right, that's a good look. I like that. I am gonna drop a hint of it on the other side. I like this jazz very much. Referencing the model, not necessarily my drawing, though I am satisfied with it, how it's turning out so far. Oh, something that Derek doesn't do that I'm going to do here, I think. Maybe he does, and I'm not, I'm just missing it. It's just adding the little segments of the fingers. I'm still kind of doing them a little bit styly. You know why? Because I'm a glutton for punishment. I can't just leave well enough alone. Like, that hand looks like it's actually fun to draw and a reasonable amount of detail. Why don't I add more? Okay. It's actually got like looking back at the design, he's got like it's like a turtleneck style thing. He's got a neck that comes up, and it's kind of gray above that point. It's black down here. This is all black. We're just going to darken that right in. This bit right here, the headlight, I'll probably put some little shines on there. One thing about drawing Transformers is, like, you pull up I always have to pull up multiple reference images. You don't have to, I guess, but you know, the one I have here, he's facing a certain way, so you kind of can't see exactly what the front of his forearm looks like. that's going to come out from the bumper there. Need to make the bumper a little higher. Make the headlight probably a little lower than it needs to be there. Yeah, that feels a little better. That feels a lot better, actually. You can actually see part of his shoulder over there. I don't want to see too much of it, but and I'm gonna actually freehand these headlights, which is like something I never do. So that'll be fun. One of the reasons I do a lot of times I'll sketch these out on the computer is like I think I would actually like to raise him up a little bit higher. You know, it looked fine when I sketched it out, but now that I'm at this point, I'm like, yeah, you know, there's a lot of space up here. I'd like to actually bump him up a little bit, maybe get a tiny bit of the midsection in there, but once you're at this point, you either have to erase it all and redo it, or just live with it. So again, that's why a lot of times I like to do the sketch digitally. Well, here we go. Let's ink in Jazz. The animated designs have these wonderfully not completely round parts. It's such a relief. It's a breath of fresh air to not feel like I need to get my straight edge out to make sure that, you know, or not straight edge, my ellipse template, to make sure that all the round parts are perfect ellipses. Jazz has a nice strong cheekbone there. I like that too. These designs are really satisfying to draw. I'm gonna start getting his hand here. Pretty happy with this hand as well. Yeah, I do enjoy Josh Bertram's. Actually, both the Joshes do great animated art. Must be a Josh thing. If your name's Josh, try drawing some animated characters. Might look pretty good. That was a villain laugh if I've ever heard one. It's a pretty sick track here. See, look, here I go. I'm adding too much detail. But that's okay. It's all just about having fun. And I'm kind of having fun with this. Feel pretty good about that. Forgot to pencil in the rear view mirror thing there. So to kind of wing it, but I think that'll work. And I'm going to adjust this on the fly as well. And just hope it looks good, which I think it does. We got 320. All right, I'm going to kind of hurry this up a little bit. Darken that in. That's all dark. I want to get this. I'm kind of giving him knuckles because I think that's kind of a fun look. Put a little shadow in there. He's got like a cool, thick black band kind of going around the edge of his hand. And I am just going to say that this piece right here is shaped like that, even though I can't quite tell from the reference picture I pulled up. Alright, let's fill that in here. I gotta get that nunchuck squared away. The other one's kind of coming out from under his arm there, which you can barely see under the bumper. But trust me, it's there. And then the front bumper is coming around here. All the way around there. Yeah, that's cool. It kind of thickens up at the edge there. I keep forgetting it doesn't need to be totally like roundish. Like I wouldn't typically do that angle, but it looks much better that way. Alright, let me get this piece inked in up here. These headlights squared away. Alright, switch over to the pen. Get some of the smaller details with the number one, the old trusty Micron number one. Does have actually a shadow under his visor, which I probably should have added. It's one of the few times I've drawn Jazz where he's not smiling also. That's a little different. But he means business here. So the old jazz stripes down there. And I kind of screwed it up, so I gotta adjust on the fly. And he's got his Elite Guard stripes here. You want to put the line down the middle of his visor. Alright, let's get rid of some of these pencil lines here. I'm done with those. Now they're just getting in the way. I love how quick microns dry on this paper typically. You don't have to wait forever to erase for fear of smudging. Alright, let's fill in the black spaces real quick here. Looks like I'm going to go a couple minutes over, but that's okay. This whole bit right here will be in black. Looks like most of his black parts here are not showing, which is okay. I forgot, right around the headlights, this is all black. I'd like to see animated brought back pretty much in any form. I think there's a lot of love for animated out there. I know I loved it. Actually has a bit of a shadow under the visor there. I don't want to do it too much, but a little bit will be good. It's kind of got a little thing sticking out on the back here. Yeah, that's more like it. Alright, I want to get the underside of his other headphone. I do appreciate that it looks like he's wearing headphones too. I like that little design aesthetic there. I want to put a thicker line around the edge of this action here. Feels like it needs a little thicker edge. Probably should have grabbed like an intermediate size micron to do it instead of this, but I'm in a bit of a hurry to finish this up. I want to darken the lines up around this because it's significantly in the foreground. All right, and around here I want to darken that up too. Animated blaster. Was there an animated blaster? I can't remember. How terrible of me. I know that I've seen like a a design floating around, but there's a lot of that design stuff out there that wasn't actually in the show. I'm just going to give him a quick little kind of action thing here. Just kind of add something to it. Some electricity, a little excitement. Tape off of there. think I'm pretty much going to call this here. I went a little bit over the time I wanted to, but not by too much. I'm going to add just a little, because I can't resist. I'm going to add just a little bit of a shine to these. This rear view mirror, I'm assuming, is what it is. So here, and I have this tendency, I'm going to kind of overdo things. I need to just let it go. So adding a little bit of shadow there. Let's tighten that up a little bit. All right, I think I'm going to call it. All right, well, that was fun. That was fun for a change. Focus, focus. All right. Here we go. Today we had Orpha Cybertron Jazz and Animated Jazz. Two very different looks. Try to do them both quick enough to get them both in on the show, or whatever, the stream. Not exactly a show, but yeah, it was fun. Something different, a little quicker, a little rougher, but yeah, thanks for joining me. That was fun. Hope you all enjoyed watching it. I'll post these on Twitter, so anybody who missed the stream can see it. And yeah, I guess that's that for today. I'll plan to come back on Monday and do something else. I'm not sure what yet, but we'll figure it out before then. So yeah, thanks again, guys. I appreciate you tuning into the channel and joining me. And hope you all have a great day and a great weekend. And see you next week. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.